It's your boy Salim from Notorious S back with another video, baby. Let's get right into the bit, right? I want to talk about simping, right? It's gonna talk about a lot. I'm gonna talk about a lot. It's gonna be like a different format where I'm just gonna rant. I'm gonna talk about simping, programmation, the current state of society as it relates to men and women, and whatever gets on my mind, I just want to talk about it. And this is gonna be highly educational, highly information packed. Stay tuned and listen to what I gotta say. I was actually listening to a video of Sneakos. It was him reacting to Kevin Samuels, one of his older videos where he was talking about simping at large. And it was funny because as the video went on, you would see Sneakos stop the video, articulate his thoughts, because it was being motivated by whatever Kevin was saying. And at the same time, I would stop the video because I was trying to articulate my thoughts. And I would find myself making the same analogies as Kevin was making in the video, but before he even said it, right? So we were all on the same kind of wavelength, and that's what dawned on me. Is like if you're a smart man, if you're a thinking man, you think for yourself, and you take time to sit down and think about a lot of the subjects and things that are being pushed forward nowadays. We tend to come to the same conclusions, right? He was talking about the fact that a lot of us are caged lions. But we're neutered, it's like somebody cut our balls, and a lot of times we do it ourselves. We cut our own balls, thinking that it's gonna get us farther in the pursuit of getting to the opposite sex, of getting to women and having success with them. But he said one thing, and he said simping, and I agree with that 100%. He said simping, acting like a simp, right, which is trying to do anything to please women, to ultimately get them to favor you, is a symptom of being programmed by society. Because think about it, and he said that as well. I'm going to paraphrase him a lot of times because what he said was pure genius. He said, well, if you were born after 1970, so you could be a Gen X, Millennial, Gen Z, and anything that comes after that, you were programmed. And I don't think that the people that came before them were also programmed, but there's a specific type of programmation that we all fall victim to, right? Which is the repression of masculinity, the repression of the instinctive way that a man behaves. And we replace that, the instinctive way that a man behaves, by anything that pleases women. And it's going to be like a woman-centric way of thinking. A lot of the times you'll find yourself in a situation, and that's what happened to me when I was younger. And I'm trying to think about the times that I simped. Anytime I did it, was because I had preconceived notions about what I was supposed to do. It's like if somebody put an idea in my mind of, you know what, that's how you're supposed to be able to grow. Even though intrinsically, because you feel it, you feel yourself editing and repressing yourself in certain situations. You want to tell that girl to shut the fuck up, but you don't want to say it. I'm sorry, but it is the truth. Or sometimes, like in my first relationship, if I had to attribute anything, like the biggest factor of my relationship not working, is because I acted based on preconceived notions that I got from TV and a lot of different outlets, be they movies, books, and TV. Because in the absence of actual experience, what do we tend to do? We take whatever we saw, we internalized, through media outlets and movies and TV shows and shit. And that's what I had. All the freaking references I had about how a man's supposed to act with a woman was High School Musical and all these dumb shows, because you can relate to them because they're young. Yes, you have your parents, but a lot of us, a lot of you are going to be kids that were raised by single mothers, single fathers, and not complete homes. And even in the case where you guys' homes are complete, there are going to be a lot of deficiencies in your home that are going to make you not want to repeat whatever you saw growing up. So a lot of the times, and that's what hurt me the most is when my relationship ended, I was like, nigga, I wish I drove it into the ground by my own doing, but I felt like I was repressing myself a lot of times, like saying that I love you, which is something I did that I didn't even feel, because I thought that's what you're supposed to do. You're with your girl, you guys have fun, and you kind of like her and shit. You're supposed to tell her you love her, when I didn't really, and agree with a lot of different shit. But I said no more. And I decided to let my inner self be the representation that I was going to present to people and to women at large. At least when I step out, when I walk away from that relationship or from that interaction, I don't have any regrets. And think about that. Anytime you act in a way that you present a false image of yourself just to please somebody else, it never ends well. It never ends well. They'll use you probably because you're presenting a side of yourself that's favorable to them getting whatever the fuck they want. but it won't be out of respect. They'll just use you until they don't need you no more. So you're not getting that true desire. You're not getting that true interaction, that genuine interaction. And girls can tell when you're acting like, when you're repressing yourself. You're not the genuine article. You're just lying to both yourself and to the girl. You know what I'm saying? But it's made like that because anytime, like he said that, and I'm going to paraphrase a lot, like I said, like anytime we try to act like we truly want to act, and then we get labeled a lot of terms. You guys know the terms. I don't even need to say them, like toxic and all these things. Look, fuck all that bullshit. It's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that. And you got to think about it. It's a lot of people that are vested in us knowing our true strength, our true value as men. Because a society that has strong men is a society that could fight oppression, that could fight wars, that could fight dictatorship, that could fight the agenda of whomever is in the reins and wants to benefit from us being weak. And you don't need to go down the rabbit hole to find out the truth, to know that if somebody is vested in you being weak, then you should do the exact opposite. You should stay ready so that you don't have to get ready. You should be alarmed. You should be a strong man just for yourself. You should stay in shape. You should eat good. You should be confident. You should hold eye contact with people when you talk to them. You should do what you want to do and not what other people want you to do or what you think other people want you to do. Just for that specific reason. And I say not go down the rabbit hole because it maybe never ends and you probably won't find out. But it's going to make you happier any fucking way if you do what you want to do. But I also understand the fact that breaking out of the reality that you've been groomed in, that you've been raised in, is really hard. Just like in the fucking Matrix, you know how he says if you unplug certain people, they're going to die because the shock is just too strong. And realizing that you've lived maybe 20, 30, 35, 45 years in a certain way of thinking that wasn't real is too much for some people. But I'd rather die knowing what was going on as opposed to, living a full, fulfilled life, quote unquote, living a lie. And if it's the same for you, then you got to do something about it. And I don't this is as serious as can be. Like, it's not going to be much like a super long rant, but that's the thing. Because a lot of, you live your life, and I can't imagine, how some of you feel, because you're probably older than me, where every single moment you repress who you truly are. Like, you have a thought, and that's what we have as men. A lot of us, we have idea, and the idea is supposed to go from the brain to the mouth. What you do is you keep it in the mind, take it to a compartment where you edit it to make it sound politically correct, and it's so fucking, oh my God, it's so hard, bro. It's hard. We look like domesticated cats. You know them cats that wear freaking clothes? I used to do Amazon delivery up until really recently, right? And I deliver very often in the suburbs. The perceived image of success. The suburbs of the big homes with 4, 5, 6 bedroom houses and 2 cars, Beamers and Benzes in the driveway with 4 kids, a husband and a wife. And it's something so crazy. It's as if they were all, it's like they were characters in a freaking book or a movie. It's all the same template. It's like a 4 to 6 people family with 4 kids, a man and a woman. And what I know is the men are always overweight, and they're maybe late 30s and 40s, sometimes in their 50s, and they look unhappy. They look the exact same way a caged lion would look if he was brought from Africa and put into a zoo and being displayed in a cage for people to just come by and look at them. They look like they're currently repressing who they truly are for the satisfaction of other people. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's the worst existence possible. My mom's in the kitchen for you. Whatever, the worst existence possible. If you think that way, if you feel that's something that applies to me, and you no longer want to do that, just be ready for and know for a fact before you even try to break that habit that it's gonna hurt. But it's gonna be worth it, because you walk with a certain freedom, a certain glow about yourself when you know that you live life on your own terms. And it's going to be a reoccurring subject because it's that important. It's that important. And I really want to let that sink in. That's the way to fight the indoctrination. And you can't always help your friends, by the way. You got to start with yourself. But know the fact that you know what, you got to put yourself in situations where you're with other men, because you know we're stronger in numbers, and have that like-minded mindset that make that help you grow together. And if your friends aren't like that, then just change friends. If your friends are yes men, if your friends are like the type of guy that hang with girls and say anything that the girls want to hear just to make them happy, kick them niggas to the curb. Kick them to the curb, because you don't need them. They're going to slow you down. And know that your relationship with them needs to be mutually beneficial. For one, go to the gym, work out, eat correctly. Develop balls, have a backbone, and don't fear confrontation. And also do the things that you know that as a modern man you're supposed to do, like take care of yourself. Don't be crusty just because you think that's what man's supposed to do. Like, you don't live in the days in the caveman days no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stop blabbering, because I feel like I delivered what I needed to deliver. But understand this: like, simping can be cut down into a lot of different parts for you to contemplate and kind of look at it. But if we have to break it down in a very large subject, I completely agree with what Kevin said. Is it's a symptom of being programmed, because innately your first reaction wouldn't be to simp, because you don't really care like that. Like, you're supposed to be outcome independent anyways. If she don't want to fuck with you, just let her get the fuck out, man. You don't need that. It's about you being programmed to think that you're supposed to cater to the woman. You're supposed to cater to every single thing that she thinks. But they like independent men. They like men capable of independent thought. Men that are not capable of being controlled, manipulated, indoctrinated into doing exactly what other people want them to do. And it starts with that. How can she respect you if she can manipulate you? If she can manipulate you and she's physically weaker than you, what's a physically stronger opponent is going to do to you? How can you defend her against attackers, invaders, or whomever, if you can't even defend her? And that's what you got to understand. It's kind of a dualistic way of thinking. They try to manipulate you, not that they truly want you to be manipulated, just to see if you're actually going to be manipulated. Now, if they can manipulate you, they don't want you. At least romantically speaking. They'll still use you, though. They'll still use you because you could be useful. But it'll never be romantically speaking, because you can't even do that, stand up for yourself. Because you think, because we live in safer times, that the wiring of women has changed. It really hasn't. And understand this, they become increasingly masculine because there is a balance to the world, and people need to reach balance. But in the absence of men being masculine, then women have to resort to being masculine. And then men, in order for the balance to be complete, have to resort to being feminine. Now they're just reversed. If you wanted to go back the way it is, because to me it's like it's always about men. The reason why our women are fucked up is because we are fucked up as men. If we go back to being truly traditional males, truly masculine males, they don't have a choice but to remain feminine, because two masculines won't work. It's like batteries. There has to be a positive and a negative, because two negatives won't work for the battery. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same now. You can say whatever you want about I'm not going to deal with masculine women. It doesn't even have to do with that. But just understand that there's a balance in the world, and it needs to stay like that. And for it to work, somebody has to assume the masculine position. Try this. Once you like any masculine man that you deem masculine, and you see it, and you put him against a masculine woman, they're not always going to revert, but more than likely they're going to revert. If you really stay grounded in what you believe, they won't fight you. They're just not used to facing masculine men, because they're getting increasingly rarer. You know what I'm saying? More rare. That's all I gotta say, man. If you like the content, subscribe, share, and like. You know why? Because it's free. And I'm gonna see you next time. Peace!